They're coming. They're coming your way. They'll be here soon.
Hey, they're the dog people, aren't they?
In downtown L.A., the criminals are beating out the cops.
Everybody down! Get down!
And for a street-hardened cop like Max Dyer, it's become a war that can't be won.
We know you've got some problems, Max. We just don't want you to quit.
But now he's been assigned to a new elite squad.
Okay, man, what's the deal?
A secret police unit.
Are we talking like some sort of pseudo-Charlie Bronson vigilante?
We call it justice.
With a special method for cleaning the scum off the streets.
Hey.
They're powerful. Deadly.
Be part of the pack, Max.
The answer is no.
You have to.
No, I don't.
And they only come out at night.
Tough guy.
Get out while you can, bro.
What did he do to you?
Tonight, we take back the streets.
From the director of Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, comes Mario Van Peebles of New Jack City and Posse, Patsy Kensit of Lethal Weapon 2, and Bruce Payne of Passenger 57 in full Eclipse. The streets have never been so scary.
All right, Ilion, I got a special case for you today. I'm gonna put you on a special task force, and we're gonna clean those streets.
Oh shit, Chief, I've been waiting for this. I got a new power washer. It's got like all kinds of cool nozzles, and man, you wouldn't believe the PSI on this bad boy. I'm ready. You just put me in there, man. I can fucking clean any street you want.
Oh yeah, power washer. Yeah, that's what I meant. Hold on, I gotta put this cocaine back. 1 sec.
Ow. Wolf cocaine.
Ow.
Welcome to Rough Cuts. Welcome to Rough Cuts, everybody. It's our podcast about good boys and bad movies. That's right, bad dog movies. I'm your host, Ilian, with my co-host, Boix.
Hello.
And
welcome.
we watched a full Eclipse starring Mario Van Peebles. Who I just like saying Mario Van Peebles.
Mario Van Peebles, part of the Van Peebles empire.
Yes.
Because there are multiple Van Peebles in the movie industry.
Yeah, his mother was an Academy Award winner. Yeah, right? Like, yeah.
Well, and his father, I think, was in a bunch of like blaxploitation stuff in the 70s and 80s. But anyway, yes. You might know Mario Van Peebles from the Hebrew Hammer.
Yes.
As Muhammad Ali, Paula Abdul. Whatever.
Oh my
God. But anyway, this is a made-for-TV HBO movie, which was only released on DVD, probably once or twice.
Made for HBO, which, oh boy. Yeah. It's and made for otherwise HBO.
Part of our lost media vault for the year, I guess. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's got dogs. It counts, I guess. Yeah.
God, it gets so wrapped up in everything else. It takes so long to get to the dogs. Because the basic synopsis of this is, we're gonna clean the streets by taking all these drugs and turning ourselves into werewolves, baby, yeah!
It's not fair that only the criminals get to do smack.
That's literally their argument is, well, we can't compete with these criminals. They're allowed to be high on PCP all the time, which, does that make you smarter or better at shooting? I don't think that does anything.
They're so good at physical combat, Chief. Where's the angel dust for us?
Like,
come on.
I don't think that's how that works. I don't think that's how any of this works.
However, werewolf drugs, maybe.
Maybe if you...
Maybe werewolf drugs. We didn't consider that, right?
Yeah, do you want to give the line?
Oh my god. This movie.
What is happening?
This is my brain.
Wait, what?
This is my brain.
This is you on my brain.
So they're taking werewolf drugs. Let's start off there.
Yes.
That if you're wondering why we're watching this movie, it is a werewolf movie, but it's about cops taking werewolf drugs.
Yes.
And at one point, the main evil villain cop, which is hard to pick out because there's so many cops.
There's so many cops. It's so hard to tell the villains.
But he's like, "This is my brain," and he's holding up the drug, and then he puts it into another guy. He's like, "This is you on my brain. Any questions? Are you taking drugs, son?"
Like, this is my brain. This is you on my brain.
The one thing this movie's missing is a McGruff that turns into a werewolf.
Yes.
If there was just a guy in a McGruff costume that then starts, like, Wolverining out.
It'd be better. Would that be better, or would it be even more horrifying if the McGruff, like, were humaned?
Maybe. If they turned into McGruffs.
Like, McGruff turns into a human?
The McGruff mascot, the guy who did that was arrested for having so many drugs and guns. By the way, in real life, the anti-drug fucking McGruff, the crime hound, was on so many werewolf drugs, you won't believe.
That, I mean, I'd believe it because they've shown how much, like, anytime that you teach kids dare, they're like, holy shit, these drugs
There's
sound
way
fucking
more
cool.
drugs than I've heard
There's
of
so many
before.
drugs that are so cool. I never heard about all these.
I'm sorry, what was that one? Is there, like,
where
writing
can I
notes?
Yeah, where can I get this smack you talk of?
Yeah. This movie has a bunch of influences. It's not good at any of them, I will say, but at least it tries. It has John Woo, like, Hard Boiled is the one that I get the closest reference to, because Hard Boiled came out a year before this, in 92.
Really
has, like,
strong
this
lethal weapon.
Very strong Lethal Weapon, especially the opening.
Especially
the opening is just Lethal Weapon.
The opening and like one of the actresses on the bad cop team is from Lethal Weapon 2. She's one of the main characters, and the buddy cop that he has at the beginning of the movie literally goes, "I'm getting too old for this shit." Like
Absolutely
they just straight up fucking steals the line.
And you could say Blade, except Blade came out 5 years later. So, Blade technically stole from full Eclipse, is what's happening here.
Blade 1 is 98? Blade 1 is 98?
So. I think so. Let me double check that.
I gotta...
I'm almost positive Blade is late 90s.
I believe you, but also it just feels so weird, because this movie feels so Blade at times.
98. Yep.
It is 98. Holy shit. That's wild. Because, like, when we first started watching this, I looked at you and I was like, oh, so this is just Blade with werewolves, huh? And it's, damn, that's... It also is not, it ends up not being Blade with werewolves at all.
No. But it also has, like, X-Men influences, it feels like. But, like,
the
cartoon?
in the stupidest ways. In the stupidest ways. Oh my god, Magneto!
Yeah, it's fucking Magneto!
Shall we? God.
As the dude fucking puts a very, very straight up Magneto helmet on, like, in its purple. Like, it's the whole
It's the same color. It looks like their jumpsuit looks very X-Men Magneto.
Super weird. Yeah, like their super cop team.
But the first X-Men movie was what, 2000? Something.
Yeah, that one's later, yeah.
It was late. So I'm like,
2001.
dang, this is like the proto Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, but with way more HBO gross sex stuff.
God, it is. They really. This is pre-Oz and pre-Sopranos. And I think Oz probably still had a lot of the gross sex stuff. Just
Yeah.
or like shock at least, right? HBO not realizing yet that, wait a minute, what if instead of just softcore pornography, we made good stuff and we just used the fact that we can have whatever rating we want to make it like more real and have people say fuck.
Yeah.
Rather
There's parts
than
of this
just-
movie that would have been better if it was in static and I can only catch every other 5 seconds or so, but it's not the same when I can just see what's happening.
It would have added to the vibe,
Like, come
yeah.
on, you fucked it up. Like,
Yeah, I've got to get up at least once to adjust the antenna and try and like.
oh, don't worry, I was getting it up the whole time.
Oh, if anything in this made you get it, we need to talk.
Why do they have to inject the brain werewolf drugs into their genitals? Why is that the location of the drug injection?
God, and then the bad cop lady, how she's like, "Oh, I got some on me," and like lifts her.
I always keep
skirt
that
up,
thing
and
on
it's like
me.
literally at like it is basically an inch from her junk, and you're like, Jesus Christ!
It's just so they could get a thigh shot.
Why do
but-
you have? Why has she got thigh straps for that? Like a thigh injector strap? It's so ridiculous.
It's great. That part I think is cool. Actually,
That part's
'cause it's so
yeah.
dumb.
Yes. This is a movie, so this is one of the long line of films that we're going to have where talking about it makes it seem way cooler than it actually is.
This movie takes a long time to get to the point. It really does. Like, it has such a strong opening.
Yep.
And a very, very stupid ending.
Yes, which is great. The ending's amazing.
And then the middle section is just like, the audience figured it out about 5 minutes in, but it stretches it for another hour.
Yeah, they just don't know where to go. And there's so many things they could do with it, which I want to talk about, but they just don't. They just decide to, like, wallow around in this weird... I think that... I'm wondering if some of it's, like, a budget thing, honestly.
Maybe... I mean, so they have a ton of locations. There's good special effects for the most part. There's like squibs and props, and
but they
gore.
they drop a lot of that in the middle part though.
They do, yeah.
So, like,
it's
that's
like
what
when
I'm
you're
wondering.
watching like a TV series and the first 2 episodes are great, and then they spend all their budget on the last one.
Yep. Like when you're watching anime and it's like, oh wow, this is sure a montage of a fight, and then you're like, oh, that's because they're not at the ultimate fight where they actually have to spend the animation budget. When's that happening?
Yeah. I mean, you can save money on costuming if you always have your main character with his shirt halfway off.
Jesus Christ.
Right?
Yeah, he just doesn't even have to wear one. We should talk about what this movie does and what it's doing. So the opening it's rad. Although it's very much, oh man, we gotta clean these streets. LA's a war zone.
It's a bunch of cops masturbating about how cool their job is.
It's super jerking itself off about how fucking cool cops are, and it's Mario Van Peebles and his sidekick Jim. And Jim it's so funny that at the beginning they're like, in different movies, Jim is like a cop in a fucking Air Bud film, and Mario Van Peebles is like John Woo cop, and so they're going into like a nightclub and stuff and like doing all
where there's an active hostage situation.
That is the first one. There's this active hostage situation, and Jim is like, we gotta wait for SWAT, and
I'm not going in. I'm in my fucking like office gear, man.
Yeah, like, and also they're detectives. You don't go like the detectives in, like they're in suits, and then suddenly a guy. This was great. He's like, we can't go in yet, man. And then as he's saying like, oh, we can't. We gotta wait for SWAT. Just the 3rd floor window explodes as they throw like a dummy out of it because they're killing hostages, I guess. So they're like, no, we gotta go in now. And Jim keeps on, he's like, man, I don't know, like my allergy to bad situations is acting up. I'm so fat and slow. Come on,
getting
I just want
so
a donut.
married tomorrow, man. I
That
can't...
also, God, his death flag is the fucking worst. Because So he death flags at the beginning.
Within 20 seconds of the movie starting.
Yes. But his death flag is, well, I'm getting married, which is fine as a death flag. It's totally the, like, I'm retiring in 2 weeks. Except it's like, well, why are you getting married? And it's like, well, here's my vows. I really like you. Let's have sex. It's like, what? And it's
He
like,
just wants to bang.
yeah, man, he's like, I don't want to marry her, but I'm just so fucking horny. Like, he literally says that.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a virgin.
He's horny, but he's also horny for deep dish greasy ass donuts.
That too. He talks about deep dish donuts.
There's a lot of cops getting donuts in this movie.
What is a deep dish donut? Anyway, so then they're in just these two different movies because Mario Van Peebles is like, all right, we're gonna break in through the air vents. Let's go fuck them up. And Jim's like, oh my god, I have a revolver. These guys got assault rifles. Like, what are we doing? Like,
just go in the air vents, Jim. It'll be fine.
And he's like climbing through the air vent, and he's like, bang, 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 like banging around in the air vents. And Mario Van Peebles is doing like ninja shit in his. So of course the guys go, dude, there's somebody banging around the air vents. You can fucking hear them, right? Like, it's real goddamn loud.
Over the
like,
music, even, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, all right, well, so just shoot the dude in the air vent? Yeah, sounds good. Just immediately riddle Jim's air vent full of holes. And Mario Van Peebles decides, well, I could use this as a moment to ambush them. Or I could stop them before they start shooting, because they're obviously going to do that. But what if I wait until they do shoot, and then I scream, no!
And then he goes,
no! For 30 seconds, and then jump out of my own air vent to take them all out as I, like, dual-wield pistol,
motion.
Max Payne style.
Yeah! Max Payne, John Woo, fucking hard-boiled. Just rolling around with two guns, doing full-body jumps in the air.
Which is rad as shit.
Oh
like,
my god.
If it kept with this vibe, this movie would have been amazing.
His name is Max Dyer.
Yes.
Which Max Payne came out after this. This is 93.
way after.
So I'm almost thinking this is the Max Payne devs might have seen this. I almost think they have, and it's so ridiculous, the name.
I mean, it's such a
so
pastiche
close.
of all of these like noir and like B movie
all these
kind
Hong
of things,
Kong
like,
action
and Hong
flicks
Kong
too,
action.
right?
Like at the beginning of it, at least, that you could say that it influenced anything. It's influenced by everything. Like it takes bits and pieces from everything. Because like they got the Lethal Weapon line in this, where he's like, "I'm too old for this shit." Like right at the beginning, they're throwing everything into this, and it's kind of great.
Yeah, but Max shoots up the saves everyone.
Yeah.
My bad.
Also, should we talk about the way that they've got the hostages? Because it's kind of amazing. Like how they're...
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Just that the bad guys have all these assault rifles, and they're shooting up random hostages every once in a while, and they're doing all the, like, the 80s style shit where it's like, oh, they're just the bad streets guys, and they're, like, licking women's faces, and, you know, because they're evil.
They're pulling a tracks.
That's what they do. And the whole time they're like, I want a Learjet on the road outside here and $1 million. And they're just screaming it at the hostages. Like, the hostages are gonna... Like, they're not negotiating with the cops. They're just yelling it at the hostages. They never show them in any kind of negotiation. It's amazing. It's so dumb.
Anyway, so Max kills them all.
Yeah.
Jim's lying on the floor bleeding, and he gets pulled to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And Max is like, I can't believe I lost my partner. And he's like talking to a therapist with his wife suddenly.
Yes.
And he's like, we have so many marital problems. My life is so dark. It's like a war out there, and I'm always on the street. I didn't sign up to be in a war zone, though. I didn't sign up to marry a cop. Well, actually.
That's...
And then it cuts back to the partner in the hospital, Jim, and he's being injected with piss.
Yes.
the most piss-looking drug I've ever seen.
This thing is so... It looks like... Yeah, it's... Although, honestly, if this is your piss, you maybe need to drink a little more water. It's a little orange.
This cop has had so much asparagus.
Dogs love asparagus.
And this is a magic piss that cures all your bullet wounds. So Jim is out the next day, or 2 days later, whatever it is.
Yeah, they show it as soon. They don't say, but...
and he's just in the locker room of the police force. And he's like, "Hey, I'm back. I'm great. Let's go get donuts. We're cops."
And Mario Van Peebles, shirtless, turns around and goes, "Oh my god," and just like stares at him. And this is, I don't know if this is a Mario Van Peebles problem or like a director problem. I'm guessing that it's a bit of both.
Probably both.
But Mario Van Peebles does the acting that he does throughout this entire movie in this scene, which is turns and looks at him and looks very confused and pensive.
He's like a dog that's like tilting his head slightly.
Mm-hmm. In every scene, he's just like,
Huh?
wow, how are you out so fast? But he doesn't say anything. He just stares at him pensively.
So as they're getting donuts, though, Jim is arguing with the donut guy because his donut doesn't have enough sugar. And he's roiding out on werewolf piss.
Yeah.
Or cougar piss?
Gotta make it seem like it's a wolf.
Wolf cougar.
The cougar thing, every single time they show them werewolfing out, they have this stock cougar sound effect, or like jaguar sound effect. And you're like, it's not a wolf.
I think I found
It's a
the
cat.
literal exact cougar noise.
Yeah, it's very
it's just
standard.
stock, so
It's basically the Van, oh god, what's the...
Van Helsing?
No,
No.
the scream, the Wilhelm scream. It's basically the Wilhelm scream
sure.
for like jaguar effects. Like if you can think in your head, if you hear that like jaguar / like cougar kind
Like
of
a
thing,
Tarzan
that's
movie or something,
immediately
right? Yeah.
You're right. That is exactly what it is. It's that stock sound effect.
So anyways, as they're getting donuts, the Rolling Stones gang shows up
Yes.
for a drive-by, and they just start shooting up the donut shop for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And the cops are like, "Well, I thought I was out, but they're bringing me back in."
Wait, they get to shoot up civilians? Why don't I get to shoot up civilians? You know
Yeah,
what?
so-
Fuck it, I'm gonna shoot up civilians.
Like, the drive-by car kills like 20 people, which is a terrible, terrible thing. Don't get me wrong. But then Jim, who's roiding out on werewolf piss, runs after the car and is causing hundreds of people to die.
Oh, yeah.
Get in accidents and pile-ups of vehicles.
They're just they're just gunning everything down everywhere. Like, it's just this full-out fight throughout every single car. Like, all the cars are getting shot up. Mario Van Peebles does, like, 3 different jump through the air
3
with
jumps,
guns.
Max Payne jumps. Jim, like, jumps into a school bus and starts punching children, one left and right. He's like, "I'm a cop, you idiot."
Move out of the way, get down! Oh, you're not fast enough.
It's something.
It's
and
incredible.
he eventually catches up to the motorcycle, because the gang gets shot out of their vehicle. 2 of them jump in a motorcycle. He kills the guy in the side car. And then he like, gets shot by the last guy. And he's like, "Oh, you think that'll kill me? I'm a wolf cop now, fucker." And he starts like revving the engine for him and holding his hand. He's like, "Ha ha 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 ha. We're driving into that fucking wall, dumbass. Let me read you your rights." And then Mario Max Dyer shows up. He's like, "Oh no, it's me, I'm Mario. What'd you do?
no.
Oh, you drove that guy into a fucking wall, you idiot."
And he's like really jealous because he's used to being the super cop and this other dude being the loser.
Aww.
So he's like,
Yeah.
that's totally what it is. He's all like, "Oh, but I'm supposed to be the super cop jumping."
But
in the
I'm
air
the
guy.
fucking John Woo cop.
What the fuck? Which seems like it's a setup for the movie. Oh, so it's gonna be him versus his partner? No,
Like, they could have done good cop, bad cop, him versus the partner.
no.
Absolutely.
There's
But
so many
instead-
ways that they could do this movie, and I want to talk about that because they just
But they don't.
They
don't.
always take the exit out of anything interesting immediately because, like, 5 scenes later, they're out playing pool, and he's talking to Dean Norris, who happens to be in this.
Hank from Breaking Bad.
Yep, and from, like, Starship Troopers and a bunch of
Yep.
things. And they're playing pool, and they're going like, "Yeah, man, it's fucking weird. There's all these cops that are suddenly just like recovering from bullet wounds out of nowhere. Oh, and they're all a bunch of fucking assholes now. These stupid pieces of shit. God, I fucking hate. Oh, hi, Jim. Jim's like right behind
talking
them.
about you. Hey, man.
And Jim is just like, he looks fucking strung out. He's just fucked up. And they showed him melting down this coin that he had.
He had some like good luck silver dollar.
They don't touch on at all. They just show him with it for like 1 second flipping a coin, and then all of a sudden he has it and he's melting it down, makes a silver bullet, goes and talks to them in the pool hall, and then swallows his gun and shoots himself.
Yep.
So, oops, that's not what the movie's about. Never mind.
Yeah, that's gone. This causes Mike to go, or that Mike, Max, to go talk to a police therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Their emotional support police officer.
Yes.
Who is Le Guru.
Yes.
El Guru.
Yeah, they send him to... No, it's not El Guru. That's what pissed me off.
It's a Guru.
It's a Guru. They show the fucking... Like, I'm like, oh my god, it's Guru. But why is it a Guru?
Because he's a werewolf.
Why would you not... But like... If you're gonna do that, you go all the way, right? Why would you do a Guru? It's Adam Guru instead of Lou Guru. Like, come on.
I don't know, yeah.
Come on.
But,
if you're gonna do it, do it.
But Adam,
Half-ass
the police
shit.
therapist, invites Max over to his police officer potluck.
Yes.
Back at his house. He's like, yeah, we just get a bunch of guys together and some other police officers. It's totally not a swinger thing. But you should bring some fucking casserole.
You should bring a casserole just in case you get tired after all the swinger thing. I mean, Because then he goes up into his gigantic, like, mansion penthouse thing. He's like, wow, you sure have a lot of
gothic penthouse.
Money? He's like, yeah, I invest it well. Anyways, here's all of the various fuck cubicles we have on the sides.
Why do they have all these? There's just, like, pods in the wall for fucking.
There's just alcoves with beds in them. In his, like, living room.
Yeah, there's two ladies.
Not a swinger thing.
2 dudes. That guy's getting married next week, though. He's not up for it today. It's like, okay, man. I thought we were here to talk about our problems and our feelings and get more emotional and in with our feminine side. What's all this bullshit?
And they're all kind of licking each other's faces. Like, there's a very homoerotic, kind of semi-sexual vibe to kind of all this stuff. Yeah.
Clearly. So then all the not werewolves are talking to them. It's like, hey, is it moral to let animals walk the streets? Isn't it right for us to just like go killing people? You ever just want to go ape shit?
You just want to go ape shit.
See, what Adam did for us is he got us to fill out a 5-year werewolf plan.
Yes. God, he literally... Where do you see yourself in 5 years, Max? Also, so I have a question for you, actually. Because there's also then one dude in here who's kind of like... He's like, dude, I really need to talk to you, Guru. Really need to talk to you. And he's the guy that has the gambling problem, right?
Right, okay, so the reason all these people joined the pack, as we find out later, is because they all got attacked or shot in the line of duty, and they found out that police officers just respond to problems, not solve problems.
Yep.
They should realize there's a problem with the system, but like instead they go the other way.
Yeah, instead they're like, wait, I can be proactive and just murder everybody.
I can just kill whoever I want. But instead, there's also just one guy who's like, yeah, I went gambling and lost some money.
Yeah, it's so funny. He's going through all of them, and it's like, I lost my brother, man. They tortured him to death in a cartel bathroom. It was awful. They chainsawed him to pieces. Oh, yeah, well, my sister got shot in a drive-by, and it paralyzed me. A guy came in a home invasion, and even though I was an officer, I couldn't stop him, and he stabbed me 3 times in the chest and paralyzed me. I lost some money at the horse race. I was like, what?
I
One
accused
of
the
these-
McDonald's worker of putting bleach in my Coke.
Well, one of these things is not
God.
like the others. It's so fucking funny. It's so
Okay,
good.
and like that's the guy that wants out. He's like, it actually wasn't that bad.
You know, I'm kind of over this whole clean the streets thing.
This whole taking drugs.
I kind of
becoming
just
X-Men,
shouldn't
killing
have done
people
that bet.
thing,
Actually, as it turns out, I probably shouldn't have a bookie as a cop. I think I've learned my way.
So Max hasn't
What
decided
happened?
to join.
What happened to that guy though? Because that whole subplot just gets dropped, right?
He must have died.
I don't remember anything about him after that. They set up this whole thing where he's like getting cold feet and he doesn't want to do it anymore. And then he's
after
just
the,
not
after
in there
the rooftop
anymore.
scene when he has the talk with Guru, he's just gone from the movie.
just
So I
gone.
assume he must be dead. But
They just don't do anything. This is what I mean. Anytime there's anything interesting brought up that it's like, oh, is this what the movie? No, it's not about that. Don't worry about it.
So the pack decides to take Max with them on their cool X-Men night mission.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, here, take these night vision goggles. We're gonna drug up. Don't worry, it's like a vaccine. It's really good. It's like when you take vitamins, my man.
Yeah,
it's not
it's
drugs.
basically B12. Like
It's
that's
just piss, man.
They keep on telling him that too. Like this isn't a joke. They're like, no, this is like vitamin B12. You ever take a vitamin, man? Like, don't be such a pussy. It's just like vitamin. But it helps us get an edge over all those guys that can take smack.
Look at fucking Max. He won't even take piss.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? And they all Wolverine claw out with like the Wolverine bones coming out of their hands.
Except it looks way worse.
And it's fucking bad. And then they kill all these people at an outdoor open, like,
It's an open air
gun
kid's
sale
birthday and arms
slash
deal.
slash kid's birthday arms deal.
They have like circus tents and like guys in they have guys in tuxedos drinking out of champagne flutes with like balloons and stuff. Like it's an outdoor party. But also there's like open boxes of like grenades or something. Like it looks like wood boxes of arms.
Look, if someone told
so
you
stupid
that your coworker's daughter is having an open bar, 7-year-old birthday party / arms deal,
I'm fucking in. I'm
going. I'm going.
Yeah.
I don't care what X-Men Wolverine team's showing up.
They've got like, here you can buy an AK, there you can get a balloon animal from Bozo the Clown.
It's got everything.
It's got it all. I mean, you can get your face painted.
Max watches them through night vision kill all these people with their weird bone claws and roid out.
Yes.
And at the end he's like, that was weird.
Maybe I should write them up.
Maybe I should, like, report them to my superior.
What the fuck, dude?
Fuck. How do we get from there to there?
Also, there's this whole thing now where they're very much like, hey man, you should join our squad. We really want you on our squad. We need you on our squad. Because you
Please join the pack,
You
man.
lost something too. Which he didn't, though. It was his partner that did.
His partner, yeah. And I guess his wife is, like, mad at him for being a cop all the time and he can't leave his work at home.
And so she's leaving. But, that's nothing, though. But then also, they're doing this whole thing to, like, court him and be like, hey, man, like, no, it's really cool. You should join us. Like, we only want volunteers, though. You gotta volunteer for it. Forget that we just, like, randomly injected your friend while he was laying in the hospital when he couldn't consent to it at all, and
he never
how we
did
recruited
piece that
him.
together. I think
but also, like, they have no problems with just giving it to Jim and just making him part of the team immediately. But for Mario, no. For Max Dyer, we gotta get him willingly. Like, what?
And remember,
None
no
of it makes
banging
sense.
him. I don't care how hot Mario is.
You're not allowed to bang anyone except for me. And
is that everybody in the pack? Is this
absolutely.
Like, okay.
There's a whole thing in every scene.
It's a pretty
too.
progressive, like, sex scene if you think about it. Like
Mario Van Peebles in every scene. Oh god, like when he was playing pool, the pool scene, he has his tie undone, and and his shirt is buttoned down, not like 2 buttons, not like
no, it's
3
sexily.
buttons, but all the way down to his belly button. He's just in the bar like that. It's just every scene he's doing.
And everybody in the bar is like, oh, that's Max Dyer.
That's Max Dyer. That's just what he does.
So, anyways, the lady cop, played by Betsy, the lady from Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, I think it's Patsy, isn't it? Right?
Oh, Patsy.
Yeah. Patsy. Oh God, what is her?
I forget her last name.
Kensit.
Okay.
Patsy Kensit. That's what it is. From Lethal Weapon 2.
So she tries to like seduce him.
Mm-hmm.
Successfully, because they bone. And while they're boning,
she does it unsuccessfully a couple times, where she just licks his face at a zoo.
Yeah, he's like, that's weird.
And like this was the thing that threw me is because, sorry, I know that you want to skip ahead a little bit and just get to it because that's the important part. But it's so weird because she's doing this and it's super creepy and gross, and he looks so pensive and like about it that I didn't get the vibe that he was into it at all, right?
No,
like,
he
felt
wasn't.
like he was totally
and
against it.
the whole time, there's like a wolf watching them, being like, "Yeah, that's the shit I like.
Yeah, I'm in the pack too. Let me in. Hey, you swinging over there?
I'm a good doggy. I'm a good doggy. Like, okay,
you swinging there? I can swing." And it's
the
really
swinger
weird. And then the
werewolf
next scene,
polycule pack is so weird. Anyway, yeah. So they fuck.
The very next scene, they're fuck. Yeah.
The very next scene, they're fucking, and she's wolfing out
fine.
with her bones coming out of her arms.
Yes, because she does drugs before she fucks him because she's like, look at how cool it is. It's great.
And afterwards, again, Max still is not saying anything about the weird bone claws.
Nope. She's got scratches all over. He's like clawed to shit. He's just torn
and he's like,
up.
Look, it's okay, I'll bang you, but I'm still marrying my girl, even if she doesn't like me.
He's married.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's already married. They're just separated,
like,
basically. Cause
we can have an affair, but I'm not making this a thing. And I'm definitely not doing drugs, all right? I'm straight edge. I'm very Christian. Mm-hmm. And she's like, look, you could be a Christian Scientist all you want afterwards. Take one hit, you fucking dumbass.
He tells him to be a Christian Scientist.
So he says no.
Yes.
So she shoots him.
Yeah.
And then forcefully injects
and then shoots him. Yeah. Shoots him, shoots him.
Yep. With piss.
Yes.
And the magic piss heals him. He's like, oh, I guess drugs are good.
Oh, wow. Wait. Man, I can't believe they never told me how cool drugs were. Hey, you want to go kill some people? Yeah, sounds great. Let's go kill
now that
people.
now that we're boarded up, let's go to that drug bust that we were going to do anyway after our sex. So they drive over to like a random drug house in LA. Mm-hmm. And there's a kid on a Game Boy.
Yeah.
Game Boy kid. I fucking love Game Boy
I always
kid.
love when they pull out a Game Boy kid.
Because Game Boy kids sit there going, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. And these two cops in regular clothes show up. He's like, oh, yeah, you going in there? Yeah? Really? You're gonna bust that place up? You fucking idiots. Can you at least give me the car keys or something so I have something for when you die, you stupid fucking idiots?
So great. It's so good. This movie, it's so boring half the time, but then every once in a while it just pulls out some shit like that.
The kid's like, all right, if you want to go die, I'm gonna go play Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid morons. And then the lady cop just like rips the fucking door metal off from the top like it's wallpaper.
Yep.
I guess.
She just rips open their secure door and they walk inside and blow up the whole joint while they're just getting shot by bullets and don't care.
I guess.
Sure. It's way more interesting and fun when it's him, like, jumping through the air with two pistols. It's way less interesting when he's just standing there with squids going off, going blam, blam,
At this
blam.
point, they definitely just throw away the John Woo shit, and it's just a werewolf with a gun, which then why is he a werewolf? What's the point? Why did they give him Wolverine claws? He's just going to shoot everyone?
Yes, it's really funny to see them holding all of their guns with Wolverine claws as they shoot people, and you're like, so why the claws then? But shouldn't you?
I guess.
No? Okay.
But then it hard cuts from this violent drug bust to Adam Guru, doing Jim Cotta with his clown shoes on.
Yes. There's
Making
this weird
squeaky clown
squeak sound
noises.
effect as he's doing these, like, parallel bars.
It's like somebody honking a bike horn as he's doing them.
Yo.
Just for no reason.
I think they're trying to show that he's, like, slipping on the bars, but it's just... Why? That's not the noise.
Whoever edited this added the wrong sound. And I know that's coming from a weird place from the person who also added cougar noises.
Yeah.
But...
There's some questionable sound effects.
Yeah, but he's talking to the police chief, who knows that Garou has a special force, but not that they're werewolves, I guess. And he's like, look, I'm sick of your tactics, pal. One more drug bust, and I know I already said this 50 times, and you killed like 900 people since joining the force, but one more!
One more massacre.
I'll
and
take
you're
your
gonna be
badge
in real
and gun.
trouble.
Yeah. You'll get put on paid suspension for 2 weeks in Hawaii, you fuck.
Yeah, you better watch out. I'm gonna give you a free vacation if you massacre anymore. What does your police stamp card look like? Do I have to punch the last one so you get your free vacation?
That's exactly what happened, though. And that's what's...
Yes. Yes.
But it hard cuts to Garou then getting mad at a lady cop, Patsy, because she had sex with somebody who wasn't him, and there's all this abuse bullshit, and I'm gonna
because it's the HBO stuff.
It's HBO, and they need to have more sex scenes.
Same with and it's got to be gross, violent, exploitative sex, which is basically what that first sex scene was too. Like it.
Yep.
That's part of it. It didn't make sense for them to have sex. It only made sense because. We're HBO.
Well, we gotta
put
HBO,
it in.
yeah.
Like, well, come on, we gotta have them say fuck and then do the sex.
The only reason I mentioned this alpha male, beta male bullshit that happens during the scene is because it's this incredibly uncomfortable scene.
Yeah.
And it hard cuts to Max Dyer's birthday party.
Yes.
Out of left field.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yo, happy birthday!
Well, and then it...
What the fuck?
And his wife shows up to that.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I came back from Houston just to, see how you were doing. Maybe we can get back together. And she follows him into the men's bathroom to talk to him. And then, of course, he assaults her in there because it's HBO.
Because it's HBO, yeah.
And so it's like, you get, like, assault, happy birthday, assault. And you're like, God damn it. Like,
roller coaster.
Whipping your fucking head back and forth on this. And he, at least in that one, it kind of, like, half cuts it out where he, changes his stance the last second and it doesn't go too far there, at least. It's just,
but it's still uncomfortable.
It starts doing it, and then he gains control of himself and leaves.
And as he leaves the bathroom, the pack shows up doing their cool fucking X-Men intro.
Yeah, they walk in like they're
the pool.
Fucking like rock band or something, and just
they're throwing their hair back, like, "Hey man, is Max Dyer here? We're here to take him to the after party."
There's literally a smoke machine behind them as they walk in, and it's basically like fans on them, so their hair's just slightly blowing.
Which one of their jobs is to set up the smoke machine and fan as they walk in the door, right?
Right?
Like, somebody has that job in the pack.
Oh, that's why they got the gambling dude. That's why they got the gambling dude.
Oh, that's why he's not in there anymore.
He's just not really in the scenes because, like, that's why he's so different than the rest of them. He never lost anything. It's like, no, man, we need a special effects guy. You're it.
Here, get the leaf blower.
We want to make a cool entrance.
This is one of many times where they make a stupid entrance for no reason, and then nothing happens afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
So
then he just leaves with them, and then it just cuts. That's just the end of that scene for no reason.
It cuts, he leaves, they all get into their X-Men costumes, which have red bands on their left arm, which doesn't mean anything at all.
Yeah. Like, they get so close on this one, because it's been really... rah, clean streets, cop shit, jerking off.
They're getting into what is essentially neo-Nazi bullshit.
Yeah, and it kind of almost says something about that a couple times, where it's like, it gets so close to being like, hey, wait, doing this kind of shit is bad. oh, this is like
this
propaganda.
is bad.
This is propaganda bullshit. Cleaning up the streets is garbage. It's not actually true. But the thing is that they would have to show like criminals that aren't bad.
Yeah,
or
and the
bad
end of
on
the
level.
movie would have to be different.
And then so they don't do that. They don't
Yeah.
do any of that, and so they don't actually manage to land any of those messaging. It still just ends up being rah cop bullshit. And same, they also threw out this, at this point too, here is another subplot they brought in. They talk a couple times before that about Teague. Do you remember Teague?
Yeah, I do.
He's mentioned off screen like 3 times before this. And then when they shoot up that drug house that we talked about with the Game Boy kid, then suddenly this guy goes, hey, I was walking there, and then all of a sudden they blew it all up, boss, you know? And so you're like, wait, they just introduced the mob. Like
They introduced the mob an hour in.
An hour in, they just suddenly have this whole thing about the mob.
But they also resolved the mob in 15 minutes.
Yes,
so what's the point of adding the mob?
Exactly my point. Well, and you only see Teague in 3 scenes. Like, they mention him a couple times where it's like, oh, I'm cleaning up the streets from Teague. Like, every once in a while he'll say that. Like, very rarely when he's talking about cleaning up the streets, he'll mention this guy or the chief will mention him. And I honestly had just kind of forgotten about it until all of a sudden they show the guy and he's like, well, I want you to take care of it. And it's like, how the fuck am I supposed to do that, boss? I don't know, just do it. And then he just walks out. And that's his whole scene for his intro of the big bad guy.
And the Sopranos guy blows up their SWAT van.
Yes, as they're strapping in as X-Men.
They're strapping into X-Men. And then they walk out, they're like, you thought you would kill the X-Men, but we're all Wolverine, motherfucker.
And they've got, basically bikinis left on because all of their clothes are destroyed.
With their, chest out, and, Max looks the same, but...
They're all sexy now. And... then they kill all the 3 mobsters that wired up their van to explode. And it does the second stupid entrance. The dumbest entrance of all time.
Oh, in the police station, yeah.
Because they walk into the police station in their tattered bikini, X-Men clothing. And they just all are, walking, all side by side, in a line, they're doing, their cool entrance, but they're all basically naked. And then he throws the steering wheel, Adam Guru, who's played by, oh god, what's his name again? He's done, a few character actor, bad...
Jack Skellington?
Yes, it's Jack Skellington, exactly. Bruce Payne in his name.
Okay.
So Bruce Payne throws the wheel down on the desk
sure.
to the sergeant, and he goes, "We need a new van." And it's like, what? What is this scene?
It's so dumb, and that just doesn't lead anywhere anyway. It just cuts to Max going into the jail. Like, hey, we got some real fucked up guy who keeps yelling about Guru. It could be anything. And this is just a Miami police officer who took all the piss in the past, and he's all wolfing out. And Max is like, wait, drugs are bad?
Wait, are drugs bad? I thought the drugs were cool. I said the drugs were bad, but then everybody said the drugs were cool. Now they're bad again? I don't get it.
And the Miami cop's like, yeah, man, they stripped your glands. They circumcised your cock.
Strip your glands was an incredible line.
What? And then Guru's like, no, they don't. They leave your dick fine. Blam, 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 blam.
Yeah, comes in and shoots him in the middle of it.
Don't let that guy tell you anything about what our drugs do to your penis.
There are no limp dick officers. You don't want to know anything about limp dick officers. Don't look up 40% of officers. It's nothing about that.
Nothing about dicks.
My dick's great. I've been taking this drug forever.
So after Maxie and Guru just murder this man in a jail cell, maybe this is bad.
I had one other note from there that I actually wrote down. I forgot. He goes, it strips your glands. It leaves you unemployable.
Unemployable.
Which
You'll
I
never
just
be employed again
fucking
after
killed
smoking
me.
the piss.
It leaves you unemployable. That's the worst thing that it can do to you. You won't be able to get a job again.
I hear the teenagers constantly talking about shooting the piss.
You better watch
It's
out.
bad.
That shit'll leave you unemployable.
That shit's bad. You don't want to be unemployable. All right. They do piss tests constantly. I hear about them.
This is the ending that just starts going off the rails and is so fucking amazing because there's so many lines and stuff like that now.
Yeah, but so Max goes through the microfilm at his local library to look up old newspaper articles, and he sees Guru in a bunch of different police stations all over the country in the same newspapers that always talk about the full eclipse happening.
Yes. So we're like,
at the same time.
Finally, we get something that's werewolf related because there's been
an hour
nothing
20.
It's basically just them doing a drug. Like, there's nothing werewolf about it.
Hour 20 in, and the full eclipse, by the way, happens on average 3 times a year. This is not a rare occurrence. This is a very common thing.
Called full eclipse.
Yeah. And so he goes to Guru's gothic mansion where all the cool doggies are sleeping in their sex pods.
Yes.
And he sees Guru taking his brain piss into vials. And he says the funny line that we mentioned earlier about the
because he
your brain
catches
on
him
drugs.
and realizes that it's I thought that he was injecting himself, and then you were like,
I think it's
is
a
he
clever
going in-
change, actually.
Sure, I actually do think that is clever, but it was funny because he puts it like next to his skull, and you're like, is there enough skin there? Is he going into his brain? And it's like, I'm like, no, like he's not going into his brain. He's just like injecting into his skin. And then he goes, this is my brain. And I'm like, all right, fine, fuck, whatever. I don't know. Like, how's he going through his own skull into his brain?
I don't know.
It's so fucking
But
good.
Max
So
calls him a
good.
neo-Nazi werewolf.
Which is, like, they know what they're doing. They kind of get it.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys have all bought into this neo-Nazi bullshit. And that's when you went, holy shit, the armbands do mean something. Because you went, I don't like that they've got those armbands. Does that mean something?
Right?
You nailed it.
In an even dumber movie, it wouldn't have been at all anything, and it would have just been a random decision.
Mm-hmm.
There is actually a point that maybe this vigilante justice bullshit against minorities in the guise of drug crime prevention is maybe neo-Nazi police bullshit.
Too bad we spent, like, the last hour just having Max walk from scene to scene looking very sad while people have sex with him and go, no, but you should do the drug.
What are you,
over and
a
over.
Christian Scientist? Take some drugs, man.
Imagine if we had instead actually had, like, other characters that had arcs. Like, I don't know, some bad guys.
But
Like
he
some
starts a
criminals.
werewolf mutiny. And Guru kills one of the werewolves. This might actually be the guy
It might have been the...
who had the money problems. I think this is where he dies finally. But he exited
No, it was
the movie way
wasn't
before.
it the guy who was, like,
The guy who doesn't
extremely
get married?
stereotypically Mexican?
No, that guy dies later because he's the one at the docks.
Okay. Who also,
dies
for
off
some
screen.
reason, is like, I can't marry my wife anymore. In a
I can't get it
scene.
up anymore. My dick's all limp from my drugs.
My drug does not make you limp dick. Blam, 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 blam.
I'm wearing a shirt that says my brain piss doesn't give cops limp dicks. Why is everybody asking me questions?
There's, like... Because instead of bothering with any kind of character arcs, they just show, like, random weddings that they're at. It's
I
just
don't know.
fucking
It's just to annoy you specifically that they're at a wedding.
Yes, that too. There's so much wedding in this movie.
Anyway, so he starts a mutiny. Him and Patsy jump out a window, and Patsy has a nice soft landing on a car where she leaves a body-shaped indentation in the entire frame.
Yeah, Max has a much better landing on the asphalt.
Yeah.
And he's
nice,
less
soft
fucked up than
asphalt.
she is because, you know, she landed on a car. Woof.
Yep. And they run to the beach where werewolves can't smell you because it's all stinky from the beach.
I guess.
And then as the waves are washing over them as they're bleeding with their open wombs into the salt water.
Yes.
She's like, no, I have one more drug left, but I'm not going to take it. You take it, Max Dyer. I'm going to die instead. It's way cooler.
It's so okay. You're underselling this a little bit because he goes, "We both dosed up not that long ago. We're healing. I'm healing up. We'll be okay." And she goes, "Nah, man, I stopped taking it for a while.
No, I didn't.
I'm gonna fucking
In
die.
fact, I should probably dose up, but you're fine. So
I'm gonna totally fucking die." And he's like, "Oh well, I'm fine." And she goes, "Okay, well, I have 1 dose left. Should I take it to live?" Actually, I think that you could probably take down the werewolf gang if you had the dose. So here you go. And it's like, she's also supposedly a super cop. Like,
she could do it.
why couldn't she do it? No, it's better if she
No.
just dies on the beach. And that's her last scene. They don't even show her die. She just gives it to Max, and then she exits the movie.
After that scene, do you think she's thinking, that was bad.
That is fucking... Why did I do that? I think I'm in shock. I'm probably
call
not
it
doing
back,
some good decision
actually.
making right now.
Wait a
Wait,
minute.
can you maybe at least like drop me off at a hospital in the meantime? Like
And Max
I might
is
be
like
able to recover.
walking
if
away,
I got a
crying with
hospital.
1 tear down his cheek. And she's like, no, I want it back. Can you
Or at least call me an ambulance or something. Like, don't just leave me to die in the salt water. Kind of hurts these wounds. Actually, this is a real bad death. You could maybe. No, okay, you're just gonna...
No.
Alright, but see you later, Max.
Anyways, the full eclipse is happening, so the X-Men team, what's left, goes to the oil rig.
Where
to
mob
kill the
is.
mob at their oil rig.
Sure.
And as they're killing all of them, Max drives up in his police car, his shitty car with a single siren on top.
Yeah.
And all the cops go, cougar noises, cougar noises. I saw cats.
They're supposed to be werewolves.
I think the cougar noises are great.
It's pretty good.
And then Max is like, hey, Adam, it's time for you to die or whatever. And Adam's like, make my day, punk.
Yes.
And so Max shoots him with a silver bullet because he oh my god, yeah, I forgot about the fucking autopsy guy is like covered in garlic and crosses and also every drug that he can give to a cop known to man.
Yeah, the morgue dude, there was a middle credits, like in between middle credits. There was a mid scene in here in that morass of the middle of this film that's just garbage, where morgue guy is told by Mario to, hey, I need to see the bullet. I want to see if it's silver. And it's like, oh my god, it is silver. There must have been a werewolf.
I guess.
Then morgue guy shows up again here when Max calls him and goes, hey, can you make me a whole lot of drugs? And he goes, yeah, man, I got all the drugs. I'll do whatever you want.
But Morgue Guy was also at his birthday party. I think they're just dealer friends.
Yes.
Right? Like,
yeah, he's just the dealer for the cops. Like, it's incredible. Yeah. He's like, yeah, no, he's like, I need like morphine, Demerol, smack, PCP. And he goes, yeah, I got all that shit. Whatever. What else do you want? You want some Adderall in there? Like, maybe. And it's like, yeah, just throw it all in. Also, it's got to be silver nitrate. And while he's on the phone, like you said, they go, wait, this is a werewolf movie. How do we... what do we do about that? How do we show it's a werewolf
Why did
movie?
they put garlic and shit in his room? There's no reason.
He's got like 12 strands of garlic and like 13 crosses, and he's wearing one. And it's like, does he know that they're all werewolves?
Yeah, does he know? Or I don't... Nobody told him.
Nobody told him. Nobody said shit to him. He just found that
maybe he's at a Halloween
bullet,
party at the morgue.
Maybe it could
know.
Yeah.
He's just decorating for a Halloween party in the background.
Just so fucking dumb.
Anyway,
nowhere.
He shoots Adam with a silver bullet. Adam does a fake death scene, and then gets up and dogs out.
Yeah.
And turns into a big werewolf, and he kills the other 2 cops that have been taking his brain piss for some reason. I don't know why. And then he runs after Max, who gets on top of a crab crate that's about to be loaded onto a ship. And there's a dock worker at work at the middle of the oil rig.
This is why they went on strike. You don't make them work at fucking 11:30. This is bullshit. They need real overtime hours.
And we have an on top of a box being loaded onto a ship, like, battle between Max and the dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
he does
Max
get a cool
losing.
transformation here.
Cool is overselling it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then, I guess, Adam's like, it's the full eclipse, Max. I can't be hurt during the full eclipse because that's the rules. Ha 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 ha. And Max is like looking at his watch. I could probably lead him on for another 5 minutes. Yeah.
I mean, how long does an eclipse last?
Yeah.
Apparently about
it's
2
it's
minutes?
only eclipse when it's fully eclipsed. When it's the side, it's like a waxing and waning eclipse. You know, it doesn't count.
And why would he tell him that he's when he's vulnerable anyway? It's just, oh god.
So Max waits it out, and then he injects him with all the shit. He's like, cheers, motherfucker.
You like drugs? Have all the drugs.
And then Adam's like, damn, those were some good drugs.
Holy shit, that's pretty fucking wild, dude.
Hey, man.
I'm seeing some sounds.
I know I'm fucking high right now.
I'm hearing
you should
colors.
just like, I'm like super dying, but you should just like sit in my blood and do a blood angel, man. That'd be cool as shit.
What if you just like drank all my blood and you were like high like me, so we could also see sounds together? Like, man, wouldn't that be rad? That'd be fucking cool. I'm dying, so you should probably do it. I'm dying.
And then Max is like,
me because I'm dying.
Looking at his blood, he's like, yeah, all right.
All right, I guess.
So Adam dies. It cuts to a scene where Max is talking to his wife, who's still with him for some reason. She cuts her
all
finger.
of a sudden she's back with him.
She cuts his finger.
The
he
last
licks her
scene that we
finger,
had with
it's
her
gross.
was him assaulting her in the bathroom.
Yeah. No, she's back. It's fine. And also, she's a
damn it.
werewolf probably now. I don't know.
Yeah.
She has a healing factor like Wolverine for some reason. And then Max goes onto his Apple computer and his pre-Excel spreadsheets and is looking at locations and eclipse dates. He's like, I'm going to go to Denver on vacation this week, and I'm going to go to, just picking different police stations to go to carry on Guru's legacy of being a neo-Nazi. Where did this go?
Because, yeah, Adam goes, I need you to drink my blood so you can keep my legacy on and protect the innocent.
But Max knows he's a neo-Nazi fuck. So
yeah, Max literally said, you guys have all bought into... He says it explicitly.
Yeah.
This neo-Nazi hyper-cop bullshit. Like, it...
But he's cool with it now, I
But
guess?
now suddenly... Like, they totally undercut their whole point, quote-unquote,
Yeah.
with that. Which...
For a twist ending, which isn't even a twist. It's just
Which is not a twist.
Yeah.
And it ends on, as you said, you were like, oh my god, does it end on Excel spreadsheet?
You can't end a movie on a spreadsheet.
Tense Excel spreadsheet?
You can do a rap music video to an Excel spreadsheet on a phone that says, hello, are you there?
Yes.
You cannot do the end of a
Can't
movie
end
on a
a movie
spreadsheet.
on it.
What is this, the Enron film?
It's so... Oh... Yeah, it's the tense final scene is him looking at his, like, Mac 2.
Great. I guess that's Full Eclipse, an HBO film.
It's so close to being amazing.
There's a lot of ideas, and not a lot of them are cohesive.
No.
Is the big problem. And if they did the John Woo jumping with doves flying bullshit throughout the whole film, and instead of Max taking all the drugs and becoming an evil werewolf neo-Nazi, if he was just like Hong Kong action flick going down stairwells and shooting at them.
Yeah, like fighting the
better
werewolves
movie.
that way. That would have been way better.
And then at the end, he's like, maybe that neo-Nazi cop shit is bad. And we, looking at the camera, need to leave the force. Like, that would be a good movie, right? Like,
they could have done... There's a bunch of ways they could have gone. They could have had it as, like, him versus his partner. They could have had it as, like, the actual mob playing a role rather than just being total background and suddenly being pulled out at the end. And then still being background. Because, like, so you notice we never even talked again about the mob at the docks because they don't matter.
or his buddies at the pool hall, they're just gone.
Yeah, like, it has all of these side plots that it picks up and looks at and goes, wow, what if this movie was about that? That'd be so cool. Anyway, and just throws it away and is like, fuck it. Like, just throws it over the shoulder 5 seconds later. Wouldn't this be interesting? Never mind.
I'm gonna look it up. I don't think this movie had multiple writers, but it almost feels like multiple writers.
It had 3, if I remember correctly.
That might be why, then.
Yeah.
It's 3 writers with 3 different ideas.
Or 2 writers, sorry. One of them is one of the names where it's like Christian Matthew Christensen
Richard
Smith.
Christian Matheson.
And so you're like, oh, okay, It's just a 4-name having motherfucker. Got it. It's one person with 4 names.
Yeah. I'm trying to see.
it's-
The other one is Michael Reeves.
Mhm.
I don't know anything these people wrote. Oh, the Dungeons and Dragons something, sure. Batman, Mystery of the Batwoman.
Michael Reeves is apparently one of the big writers on Gargoyles and Batman the Animated Series.
He-Man, the He-Man reboot, yeah.
Which,
Like a cartoon guy. And yeah, Batman the Animated Series. So he's like a comic guy. Weird.
makes sense for a lot of the feel of this in a way.
Huh.
For how we were talking about how comic booky it gets. In
Oh, we also
various
wrote on
parts.
TMNT, the old cartoon.
Yeah.
89, 88.
And I think
Real
they could have
Ghostbusters,
leaned into the B movie side of it and made it really fun Hong Kong action B movie shit.
It really needed to be a Hong Kong action movie. It really did.
Let's rate the dogs.
I guess there's Agaru.
There's
Agaru gets and should be Elgaru out of 10.
Yes.
Also, wearing your clown shoes while doing Gymkata out of 10.
He's... Unfortunately, Agaru only gets W's, so he doesn't have the L anymore. He dropped the L. He won't take an L. He refuses to take an L out of 10. That's Agaru.
The pack takes way too much piss.
I don't think they're not dogs, though. They're just like brain dogs.
If you have the brain of a dog, are you a dog? Does that count?
I
I'm
don't
pretty
even
sure in
get-
the concept of the podcast that counts. We've done it before.
I don't know if they get the brain of the dog so much as they got the brain drugs.
They just got dog high from piss.
Fucking weird movies. I'm done. They're piss dogs out of 10. Great.
Piss
Love
dogs
it.
out of 10. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Brain piss out of 10. What is a brain
That makes
piss?
sense. That makes sense.
Why is he pissing out of his brain?
I don't know. The director of this, by the way, I don't know if we ever mentioned that, is the same director as Hellraiser 3.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's done basically anything else that's well known, but also I wouldn't say Full Eclipse is well known, so it's fine.
No. I will say that, like, a lot of the action shots and stuff are really good. Like, there's some really good special effects and stuff in here, actually.
Yeah.
Like, you mentioned at one point, like, you really liked the fake arm for the
There's
injection.
a spot where Max is getting shut up by Adam to get him hooked on the drug again, and it shows this fake arm with this like fake skin that gets injected, and then these veins pop out of it very clearly immediately.
Yes.
And that was like some sort of a fake prop that had something then pushed through a tube
Yeah,
to
for the
expand it, and
veins,
I'm like,
yeah.
that looks great.
It looked so good. It looked so
Yeah.
good. The final werewolf did not. but
No, the dog
the
costume
dog
looks
costume
awful.
was real bad. But there's a lot, and like the claws are bad, but like
Mhm.
bad in a fun way, if that makes sense.
It looks like they're just glued onto the hand is what the
Yes.
problem is. Yeah.
But there's a lot of explosions and like jumping in the air with two guns and stuff at the beginning that is really fun. They do a lot of squibs, which I'm a
Squibs
huge
too.
fan
I
of
always enjoy a
squibs.
good squib.
They had a
Yeah.
lot of squibs in this. So there's some good things in this for sure. It's just too bad. This movie feels like a lot of unrealized potential.
And thankfully we got Blade because of this. That is canon. That is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now that Blade is back into the official Marvel Cinematic Universe. And if you want to know more about great nerd things like that, you can follow our podcast.
Please.
Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe.
You could check us out on Patreon, for example, because somehow Boyks buys all these DVDs for these movies. Like Full Eclipse. I can't wait to see your DVD collection someday.
Oh, man.
Your DVD VHS collection is gonna be things of legend. But yeah, so you can help us out on Patreon. We do really appreciate that. And you can always suggest movies. You can send them in to us. We've got an email at roughcutscast at gmail.com. Or you can follow us on Blue Sky, where we're Rough Cuts.
Yep.
We do also put up some of the extra videos and like gifs and things from the actual movies onto some of the social media, and we save a bunch of them for the patrons too, so you can get the episodes early. We try and give you some extra things like that.
Anyway, so I was on my way to GNC after this, usually when I walk in, they're like, bro, you look huge.
Oh, man.
You know? But last time I went in, they gave me this jar of piss from behind the counter. They just had it sitting there.
So, yeah.
So, you want some?
I mean, if you don't know, like, I kind of hurt my hand this year real bad.
Yeah.
Like, I messed up my hand, so I was hoping to kind of get back into being jacked. So if you could, if you could ask them if they've got any of that Brain Piss Plus.
Oh, that performance enhancing piss.
Yeah.
No,
Like I said,
I'm pretty sure they
I don't
have
want.
it,
I don't
for
want
sure.
the original formula Brain Piss. It's not as good.
Yeah,
Brain Piss
yeah.
Plus, though.
I'll go
I've
check
heard
that
that
out.
stuff is choice.
All right, yeah. Sounds good. I'll check it out. I'll see you later. Yeah. See you next time. I'll get you the piss. Don't worry. I help officers having marital problems.
What do you mean, someone like me?
You want to know about officers' erectile dysfunction? Google police 40%.
Yeah.
Best officers on the force.
40% of officers are limp dicks.
You're smart. Got
Fuck.
nerve. Combination we can't afford to lose.